So you want to write a book but don't know where to start. Watch this. Hey, welcome to another episode of Indie Author Pro. I am your host, Ryan C. Greene, founder of Indie Author Pro. If you watched the previous show, in that episode, I talked about why every boss and every content expert should write a book. But you're probably wondering, how do I get started? What do I do? My background, I've written and published books for 15 years. So there's there's 7 questions I'm going to talk to you about that you should ask yourself before you write your book. Okay, we're going to talk about those 7 questions. But before we get to that, make sure you subscribe. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button. If you like this content, hit the subscribe button. Help us grow the page, help us grow the channel. But also share it out. Share it out with your network as well. So go ahead and do that real quick. I'll wait. Go ahead. No, right there. Hit the button. All right, cool. Let's go. So listen, 7 questions. How do I start? What do I do? How to write a book? You want to do that. You want to write a book. So what do you do? So let's start here. Question number 1, ask yourself is, why are you writing a book? Like literally a book. Why are you writing a book? If you have some expertise, if you have content, if you have something that you want to share, the question first is, why are you choosing a book format in which to do that? Really have to ask yourself that question. What is it about a book that intrigues you? Because you could do other things. You could share your information in other formats in other ways. So what is it about a book that appeals to you? Why do you want to do a book? So that's going to be question number 1. Question number 2 is, what solution will you provide? What question will you answer? Okay, and we're talking about nonfiction books here, but there's something that when you're writing a book, because I think anyone, I've heard people say everyone has a book in them, and that's fine. I think a lot of people could write books if you're talking about just story, but everyone doesn't want to write a biography. Everyone doesn't want to write a book about them. So what are you writing a book about? What are you fixing? What are you solving? What solution are you providing in your book? So this is going to be important, because when you know the solution you're providing, that kind of helps you put together the book and know what the end goal is. You don't want to just write a bunch of information. I know this is where a lot of people get hung up, is because they don't know what they're trying to provide, what solution they're trying to solve. They just want to put information into a book. But you really need to gather that and understand what solution you're providing, because you want to make sure that your book is focused. You want to make sure that it delivers on what the title and the promise says it's going to do, and that is delivering that value to the reader. You don't want to have a book, if you're writing a book, say, hey, my book is about helping people set goals. So you have that, and then in the book, you're also talking about family, building a family, or growing, going up the corporate ladder. Those are 3 totally separate books, right? You can write 3 totally separate books about those things. So you want to make sure that you focus on what your solution is and what the problem is that you're going to solve, so that you can have focus and direction in your book. Question number 3 is, what resources do you need? What are you going to need to complete your book? Is it going to be financial resources? Do you need physical resources? Do you need people? What information do you need? What kind of research is it going to take for you to complete your book? Do you need a space to write your book? Do you need to do some kind of studies or surveys? What is it that you're going to need to complete your book? How are you going to publish the book? What are you going to self-publish or solicit publishing a deal? So what all are you going to need? And that's going to go into as well, to what resources. You got to know that up front. You don't want to write your book or start the process and realize, I left this out. I needed this. Another resource, reviews. Quick story, when I first started writing books, I didn't understand. I didn't know how people got the reviews on the back of the books, inside the books before the book came out. How does your book come out with reviews already on it? The book just came out. I know it sounds silly, but listen, this is where I was back in 2004, never having written a book before. So you want people to actually have endorsements. If you want endorsements on your book, you got to work that. Those are resources that are going to have to go into that. Writing up the request for those endorsements, sending those out. The timeline is going to take to get that, so that you can have your book with endorsements in it. So those are some of the things, some of the resources that you're going to have to really consider how you're going to obtain those when doing your book. Question number 4 is, what is your end goal? So what is your end goal with the book? And when I ask about the end goal, is your book just to put a book out, to say you put a book out? Is your book out to open up doors for you to be a speaker, open up doors for you to do trainings, open up doors for you to sell programs? What's your end goal? Because the end goal, when you know what your goal is, it's going to also you'll be able to gear your writing towards that. So if my goal for my book is to build a coaching program that I'm providing. Then all throughout that book, I want to be dropping little nuggets about my coaching program, or getting soft yeses, as they say in sales, along the way about my coaching program. So then people reading my book and information, they're constantly hearing about this coaching program. So they're going to be thinking, well, okay, if I want the next step, I know Ryan offers a coaching program. So you need to know what going in, what your goal is, so that you can gear that the writing and the marketing in your book towards that. If your book is just to go out there and get popular, then you're probably going to go out there and tell people to, hey, like this, share this, tweet this, come and subscribe here throughout the book. So understanding what your goal is will also direct how you market the book and how you also cater the writing in the book. Question number 5 is, what lessons do you plan to teach in the book? Now, when you start writing the book, I don't want to get into how you're going to teach the lessons, but really, as you're outlining, understanding that what is it that you want to teach in the book. This is we're thinking on a macro level here, because let's use the goal setting example again. If you're writing a book about setting goals, you have to ask yourself the question, what lessons do you want to teach about setting goals? So do you want to teach maybe how to set the goals? Do you want to teach why to set goals? We'll go through when to set goals, who to set goals, who should set goals, what is it? So what are the lessons? So there's some of the things that your lessons, where you don't have to necessarily know what you're teaching in the lesson yet, but you need to understand and know what those lessons are. So now that you know what resources going back, what resources you need in order to fulfill and teach those lessons. So you really want to know early on what the lessons are, how you want to get to your end goal. Question number 6 is knowing who is your audience. And as a publisher, I can't tell you how many times I've heard my book is for everyone. Everyone's going to want my book. Here's a secret. No, they're not. Everyone's not going to want your book. Shoot, half your target market is probably not even going to want your book, if we're being honest. But the fact of the matter is, at least that's who your book is going, who your book is for. You need to know who your market is, who your audience is. You can't just go and write a book and say, hey, everyone, come get it. Because you need to, knowing the audience will, again, gear how you write the book, but also how you market the book, and what actions you expect the people, your audience and your readers, to take when reading your book. So again, if you're writing a book about goals, you can write a book about school age kids, how to set goals. You can write a book about how to set goals graduating college. You can write about how to set goals once you hit 30, how to set goals once you hit 40. You can write about how to set marriage goals. You can write about how to set goals as a senior, how to set goals now as our new retiree. All those different markets on how to set goals. That's why you need an audience. You need to know who your audience is, because just your subject itself could attract and appeal to many people, but you need to know who it is you're speaking to, so that as you're writing the book, as you're teaching in the book, you're speaking directly to them. You're going to answer the questions that they'll have about the subject matter that you're teaching. So don't take this lightly. Make sure you really hone in on who your target market is, how they speak, how they like to get information, how they are going to take this stuff in, so that you can really reach them and talk to them, and they'll feel a connection once they're reading your book, and really want to follow you and learn more about you and move forward doing business with you. Question number 7 is, what doors do you want your book to open for you? All right, so again, this book is important, because as you're writing your book, you need to know what you want this book to do for you, what doors you want this book to open. Do you want to be seen as an author? Do you want to be seen as an expert, maybe a media consultant, maybe a correspondent somewhere, maybe a teacher, maybe a coach, whatever it is, what doors you want that book to open? That's how you want to position yourself in the book. So you're positioning yourself as that person in the book, so when people reading the book, they'll say, oh, okay, this person is XYZ. And then the book will help solidify that. So always understand what your end goal is in your book, because then that's how you're going to position yourself. So those are the 7 questions. I want you to make sure that before you start writing your book, you know the answers to those 7 questions. And if you need help writing your book, you're looking to write your book, and you're looking for ways to really get this book done in the next 60 days or within 60 days, we have Indie Author Pro, our book launch mastery program, where enrollment is open now for the next cohort. We can help you in 60 days. We'll get all these questions answered and so much more. Take you through our entire process of writing your book, putting your book together, and marketing your book. So we're looking for you. If you're interested in scheduling a free discovery call, go to indieauthorpro.com right now. We'd love to talk to you about what we can offer, how we can get your book started right now. So again, I'm Ryan C. Greene. Thank you for tuning in. See you on the next episode.